It is time once again for Oculus Connect, which is Oculus's annual developer conference, and we got to see a few games today.
And so many games.
So many games, and a lot of them do use the Oculus Touch, which is essentially the hand controllers,
Yeah,
right?
they're motion controllers. They're really incredible little controllers. Not only are they full motion tracking, but they know where your fingers are. So if you do this on the controller, you'll be pointing at something in the game with a virtual hand. Now, ever since the Wii U had a breakaway hit, as in, with Wii Sports, every kind of motion controller out there has got to have a sports game. So for the Oculus Rift and Oculus Touch, that's VR sports. And, it's okay. There's a basketball mode that is basketball. You go like this in VR, you shoot a basket. But then there's football. And in football, you throw a football with your arm, and your arm dictates where football goes in real life. In VR, doesn't matter how hard you throw the ball. It's just wherever you're looking, that's where the ball goes. And so it wasn't a perfect match, but it did have hockey, which wasn't important because of hockey, but because there was fighting. And it was
very important in hockey.
It was hockey fighting.
Game
it was like boxing. It was actually really cool. Probably the best part of it was not playing hockey.
Another sort of interesting multiplayer online experience that I tried was something called Kingspray, which is basically a graffiti game where you and your friends gather around to spray paint a wall.
Well, it's graffiti art, which is a very complex kind of art form. I was actually pretty impressed because it actually had pretty good spray physics. If you got the paint too close to the wall, the paint runs down. So attention to detail.
Very good detail, and I like that you could snap a picture of your creation to share on social media, I'm assuming.
Lone Echo is, out of all the demos I saw today, it was probably one of my favorite because it took movement in VR to a new level. Normally, movement in VR, you've got to use a teleportation system where you point a gun in direction and bam, you're there. But this one avoids that because there's no gravity. You just pull yourself around a space station with your hands. It's a very immersive experience. You're a robot in space. I don't know how to praise it higher than that.
Another cool game that I looked at was the Arctica.1. It's hard name to say. You're set in Russia, but it's 100 years from now. It's an ice age. It's a future post-apocalyptic kind of game, and you're basically a mercenary trying to protect facility from being run over by bandits. And it was a really fun, immersive game. I found myself crouching down, trying to avoid being shot at. It was really cool.
It's the same kind of dark, intense action you would get from Metro: The Last Light, which, by the way, is made by the same guys.
Another game we looked at was Unspoken. We sort of saw an earlier version of this earlier this year at E3.
Yeah.
But there have been some changes to it, right?
Yeah, Unspoken at E3 had some basic magic spells. You had, your right trigger spell and your left trigger spell, but now they've added character classes, so you have more variety in what kind of classes and what kind of magic you're using. And more importantly, they're using the Oculus Touch controllers a little better, so there's motion controls. The developer said that people were focusing too much on their items, so they've made it so you can use the controllers and cross your arms and do various motions to cast spells that keeps the player more engaged in the battle.
We saw a lot of games today.
A ton of games.
But there's a lot more to come. There's 2 more days of this thing. So for more, go ahead and go out to our site, Engadget.com.